Hello and welcome back to Venus. I'm Mick. We're playing Stationeers. Now we are back. We are still trying to work out a way to survive on Venus. Now, after the last one, they did have a few comments there. And as we can see, we are back to the composters. After doing all the maths there and finding out that the biomass, burning it in the furnace was a more efficient way of doing it there, I'm back to where I started and using the composters because there were a few comments there, and Elmo did drop in a comment to sort of say, well, yes, the arc furnace is more efficient in terms of biomass, but you're kind of missing the point here because we want to get thermal efficiency, not biomass efficiency, because we can make as much biomass as we want in there somewhere over the back. They're doing their thing. But cooling is the real problem we got here. Now, as I say, we found out that we did get more efficient water production from the arc furnace, burning the biomass in the arc furnace. But these ones have a byproduct of producing nitrogen, which I need to put into my Winterspawn. The Winterspawn require nitrogen. So I said, if you do the maths on it, you find that to get 1 mole of water out of this, you have to make 2.43 mole of water. 1.3 goes back into these things, and the rest of it goes to the plants. Whereas for the arc furnace, burning the biomass, you only, to get 1 mole out of it, you're not using any in the process, you only have to cool down 1. But to actually condense that water, so to condense 1 mole is, well, it's 8 kilowatts, because that's what it takes to condense a mole of water. And to cool it down from, even if you have a storm collection there and cool it down from, the water is 370 degrees, the nighttime temperature for you can use that to cool it down. I suppose get a bit of it back, but to condense it is 8 kilowatts. To cool it down from 370 degrees to say 25 at 72 joules per degree. So to condense it as 8 kilowatts, to cool it down is 24.8 kilowatts. So condensing it's not really the issue there, it's cooling it down. So with by the time you condense it and cool it down, to get 1 mole out of this, it takes 44 kilowatts. To do it in the arc furnace, it takes 32 kilowatts. And yeah, I know that's less for the arc furnace, but as I say, this produces a byproduct of nitrogen, cool nitrogen, so which I need. So it saves me having to collect nitrogen from the atmosphere, even as a storm temperature. If you collect it at 364 degrees during a storm and cool it down to something usable, or cool it down to the same temperature it comes out of here, even that is coming out at 20.6 joules per degree. Using this thing saves me 23.4 kilowatts of cooling that I'd have to do for the nitrogen. So by the time you take that off there, this thing, with the byproduct of the nitrogen, is costing me 20.8 kilowatts per mole, and the arc furnace is costing me 32.8 kilowatts. And now there is some pollutant that comes out of the arc furnace, but that's bugger all, and by the time you condense that and then re-evaporate it, it really doesn't do much for you at all. So yeah, we're back to the composters. So they seem to be the way to go. They're working for me. Now, another question I got was, are these things actually worth it? Well, yes, and no, and sort of. All three of those things. That's what that's what I answer that one with. So how can we do all three of them? Once again, we've got to dive back into the maths of it. One of these, with your vanilla plants, will consume a 0.4 millimoles per game tick of water and 10 millimoles of nitrogen per game tick. To cool all of that down from our condense and cool down the water, and to capture and cool down the nitrogen, even from storm, that takes 84 watts per tick. These things will produce 150 watts of cooling. So yes, they are very much worth it. However, if you like playing with Plants and Nutrition mod, the amount of water that these things use is greatly increased. Now, Plants and Nutrition will increase the amount of water that all the plants use by a factor of 500. Now, it's not 500%, that is 500 times, or 50,000% more water they will use. Now, because these things already use 66 times as much water as regular plants, that one's got a special limiter on it. So with the default settings for Plants and Nutrition, these will use 4 millimoles instead of 0.4. So they use 10 times as much. They use 4 millimoles of water and 10 millimoles of nitrogen per game tick. Now that will cost you 202 watts to cool down. They produce 150. So with Plants and Nutrition installed, no, it won't work. No matter how you configure that, it will not work. But Plants and Nutrition does come with a configuration file, and you can surprisingly use the configuration file to configure the mod, oddly enough. So I have found that if you reduce the Plants and Nutrition by a factor of 4, yes, only uses quarter of as much as what the original mod was designed to do, but you can change it. Settings are there, they're easy enough to choose. But I have got this one set down to a quarter of what it is. So instead of a factor of 500 times, we've got 125 times as much water being used. And these ones, instead of being limited to 0.004 moles, they're down to 0.001. So yeah, as I say, that's the sort of one. So with standard ones, yes, this will work beautifully. You will profit from it. If you use Plants and Nutrition, forget it, it won't work. If you modify Plants and Nutrition and nerf it a little bit, still 125 times more than what the standard one is. But yeah, then you can. That's what I've got here. So I've got things working as they are. It's just gone dark so nobody can see what we're doing. But I have my oxygen production over here, which is of course a heap of Darga ferns there. I have my Winterspawn over here. So I have four full grow lights for them. I probably should halve that. I've just overcooked it here immensely. And to condense my water, I just have 4 water condensers here. They are just automatically, well, they're actually just adjusting themselves a little bit. You can see the dial moving just to try and maintain their temperature and try and protect the temperature of my nitrogen, which is sitting at 6 degrees. Now I have my tank of water which I'm making, burning of course over here and then cooling down during a storm, and I collect gas from the storm. I'm filtering everything that comes out of my plant greenhouse to collect my oxygen, and carbon dioxide is picked up from basically straight from my storm gas collection tank, and I have some nitrogen coming in from the storm gas collection as well. And atmospherics on this side are connected to the atmospherics on that side, so don't worry if there's 2 machines there, they're all connected up. Now, I have it set up as it's coming in, can see my oxygen. So that is going up. So I've got it coming in, so there's 100, sitting at around about 100 moles positive. Got occasional glitch in the numbers there that go down and show a negative number, but it's most of the time it's sitting at about 100 moles per 100 games ticks. It's rising. So it's actually increasing the amount of oxygen we've got. I have my volatiles. Once again, that is increasing at a rate of 91 moles per 100 game ticks. So that one is increasing as well. So we're making it faster than we're using it. So some of that is going out to the combustor, which is probably this thing switching on. When it switches on, and actually the fuel pump switches on over here. When that switches on, that's probably our big dip in the... it's not going to do it now to show us. But when that one switches on, it's producing our fuel in here, which produces our burnt gas, very hot, which we filter and turn into our water. Hot gas over there goes through the steam, through the storm cooling. Well, when there's a storm, no storm at the moment, so that's all switched off. But that is all monitored as well. And our water, which is that one there, well, our steam, I should say. Our steam is actually on a positive number as well. So that is actually increasing the amount of steam we've got faster than we are actually condensing it. So the amount of steam I've got in that big tank there is increasing. And of course that is then coming down through here, through our condensers and out into these, which I'm monitoring through the different greenhouses with all of these things, and I'm monitoring it. Well, this one's on a separate system, so I'm not actually monitoring that one. That is just being fed from the storms. But we find that the actual water itself, come back over here, is also on the improve, although only by a tiny, tiny amount at the moment. That's not going to help me looking at a graph. So that's the nitrogen. Here's the water over here. That's better than that one. So the temperature of the nitrogen is staying stable, but our water is coming in, it's actually increasing. So that's the amount of water we got in the pipe. So we're making more water faster than the plants are using it. I'm making more steam faster than the condenser's using it. And I'm producing more oxygen and more volatiles faster than the water maker's producing it. So I've got everything here in positive numbers by nerfing the plants and nutrition. So it's sort of a little bit disappointing that I've had to nerf it to get it there, but it's all working. So I might be just about ready to go and see if I can go to Venus and be stranded and alone and not have to use trade. Now, this, as I say, this system's rather oversized there. I could have easily halved the size of that greenhouse and halved the air conditioners I've got. I've currently got that greenhouse producing cold. The air conditioners are trying to heat that, because otherwise those things will just cool the place down until they all die. So the air conditioners are trying to keep it warm. I have one of them switched off. The other three are going. Once again, if I halve the size of that, I can get rid of a couple of my air conditioners. They are dumping all of the cold into the nitrogen. The nitrogen is then going on to come over here and condense the water, which we are using, of course, to grow everything. And it's being used in this air conditioner over here to cool down the other greenhouse, which is producing our oxygen and our biomass. Now, of course, this thing is getting its water from the, well, cooling down the steam by using the storm gas tank, which is the brown pipe there, which is over here. So, as we go through all of that, I have, oh crap, I got tons of water in there. So we're making plenty of water in there, plenty of water here. We're getting enough gas. We're getting enough well, everything we need to keep it going indefinitely. Well, that's about all we've got from here. Just a quick update to let you know how the experiments are going. I have kind of simplified it so much. As it turns out, the KISS principle does seem to work best here. So just a few condensers and all the other crap that I had here before is gone. So, of course, KISS principle works, which is, of course, keep it simple. Dumbass. Yep. Yeah, but that's about it. So, yeah, we'll see how we get on. That's about all for today. So, till next time, happy building. See ya.